So, the 64-bit update for TF2 finally released, and while it might not look like anything's changed on the surface, under the hood, holy crap, has a lot of stuff changed. For starters, TF2 can access more memory, more RAM, so you won't get those random crashes where TF2 has ran out of memory. But I think the most important change, or the biggest change, and I think it's a very unintentional change too, is that the 64-bit update, it broke the bots. It also broke many exploits and cheats used as well. So projects like Lamaubox and that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. They no longer work. Now, I assume it'll only be a matter of time before those cheaters, before the makers of the cheats fix that issue and we see them again. But as for the bots, I'm not so sure. I'm not exactly sure what happened with the botting software. I think it has something to do with the fact that it's a different binary, and with it comes different code that the bots aren't programmed for, or the software that utilizes the 32-bit binary can no longer use it because it no longer exists. It's working with 64 bits, and the botting software is 32. Incompatible. But, as you can see from the gameplay, I haven't run into any bots. And sure, my spy gameplay does suck quite a bit, but I'm learning and I'm getting better, and that's all that matters. Anyway, that's just a quick update. I'm very excited because with the unintentional removal of bots, I expect that a lot of people are going to pick up the game again. Players that have left due to the botting crisis are going to come back. New players that may have been turned off from TF2 because they've heard negative things about the bots will join the game, and we'll get an influx of new players. And this isn't an isolated incident. I'm not the only one that has been experiencing the lack of bots. Tons of other people have noticed this too. A lot of people in the game chat, they have been saying, hey, where are the bots? And they're sarcastically saying, I miss the bots, because we've gone so long having to deal with these bots, having to server hop and having to vote kick them en masse, that not having them, it feels unnatural almost, which isn't a good thing for that to feel unnatural. The fact that those bots have been around for such a long time and we've just kind of expected them at this point, it just kind of shows you how neglected TF2 has become. You know, Valve doesn't care about this game anymore. The only reason they keep us around is to squeeze every last penny out of us, and I hate it. You know, I've grown resentful of Valve. I've grown hateful of them because they've neglected such a masterpiece of a game. Obviously, the game's got flaws. Every game does, but TF2, you can tell that a lot of passion, a lot of love was put into the game, and just to see it slowly die due to Valve's neglect and the 64-bit update, I mean, a lot of people are heralding it as, like, we're totally back, guys. This is, you know, like, Valve's going to support the game again. No, they're not. They hired an external developer to work on this. I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I think that the developer that they hired was actually a modder for TF2, and they just hired him on as an independent contractor to go and make this 64-bit update because they couldn't be bothered to do it. Now, I might be wrong, but that's just what I've heard going around. So correct me if I'm wrong, and I might just be, but that's what I've heard. But I guess that's also good as well, because if Valve is willing to go out of their way to hire people from the community to patch the game and add updates, you know, what else might they be willing to do? You know, if we get a bunch of competent, passionate programmers and texture artists and modelers to go and approach Valve and say, hey, we can work on this game, and you won't have to do anything, you know? Obviously, that isn't the preferred outcome. I would love it if Valve started supporting the game themselves, but if we have to go down the route of community creators being onboarded onto the TF2 dev team to actually get us the updates that we want, we need, I'm all for it. You know, compensate them. Maybe some of them might do it for free. You know I would. I don't know that much about Valve's programming language. I think that it is programmed in C. So I'd be willing to learn. I know Python, so learning C won't be that difficult, you know? And I would totally be willing to, fix the bugs and the glitches in the game, and definitely the botting problem, which, again, seems to have been temporarily fixed, for free. You know, I love this game. It's been a big part of my life now for 5-6 years, which I know isn't a lot in TF2 terms. You know, you got people that have been with this game since the very beginning. But, it's still special to me, and it's special to a lot of people. And the fact that we've even gotten this at all, like, when the beta was released, I was skeptical. You know, I was like, okay, well, that's cool, they released a 64-bit beta, but, they might drop it, which, is very, looking back on it, I don't know what I was thinking. It's kind of stupid of me to think that they would drop a beta. A beta is for testing purposes so that they can release the finished product with as little errors and bugs as possible. So, I guess I just didn't have any hope. I didn't have any trust in Valve that they would actually do something like this. And then when it did come out, I was extremely excited, The bots had gotten so bad for me at that point that I just kind of stopped playing TF2 and I switched to TF2 Classic because that game, the developers actively support it. It doesn't have a botting problem. It doesn't have a cheater problem, at least not that I can see. And the community is incredible. It's the same community, just for a modded version of the game, more or less. But when I saw that they released the 64-bit update, I was excited. I hopped on the game, and the first thing I noticed was how smooth it was running. You weren't getting random lag spikes. And the second thing was the bots. I didn't see any bots, and I thought, since this was the first server that I joined, I'm like, okay, well, maybe the botters aren't active, maybe maybe they're sleeping, who knows. But the more servers I joined, I realized, wait a minute, they're actually gone. They have been stopped for now. Obviously, they're going to update their software for this new version, if they care. From what I've heard and what I've researched, the botters do it not because they hate the game, although some of them do, but some of them, or most, do it because because. There is no reason. They just do it because they feel like they have to, or they get some sort of sick enjoyment out of it. Destroying game servers and ruining the game for thousands of people. I don't know why they do it. No one will ever know why they do it. But they will update their software. Mark my words. They will be back. So enjoy this time of freedom that we have, because it can be taken away. Now, I know I sound very pessimistic, and it's for good reason. With Valve not doing anything, and we know how resilient cheaters and botters are. Look at Valorant. They have a very, very, very aggressive anti-cheat. And because of that, the cheaters have made more and more aggressive software to circumvent those anti-cheats. Am I saying Valve should get a kernel level anti-cheat? Heck no. It's basically a rootkit that just sits in your computer, hogs all your resources because it's watching literally every program for malicious code being executed and blocks it. And a kernel level anti-cheat is no better than what VAC is. Well, it's a little bit better in the fact that it literally spies on your computer and stops these programs from executing before they even have a chance to open. But once you find a way around that, it's basically just bloatware. It's just spyware that just sits on your computer and hogs all your resources. And if you... That sucks. I would not like Valve to become that, and I think Valve knows this. They know that the players, or just the community in general, doesn't want Valve to be this invasive spyware that installs a rootkit onto your machine. And I respect them for that. However, there needs to be a better approach. There needs to be some other method of catching cheaters and especially botters, because programs like Valorant's Vanguard, what they do is, since they're operating at a level beyond administrative privileges, at the kernel level, they're able to access your hardware, your physical hardware. They're able to record your keystrokes and your mouse clicks and what's being written to the GPU and to the RAM and to the CPU. And that's kind of scary. Not kind of, that is scary. Because what ends up happening is that if an exploit, if this anti-cheat is exploited, they can, the attacker can then like overclock your GPU and your CPU until your machine literally explodes. Or gets so hot that it fries itself. That would be a terrible thing. The software that the botters use runs primarily off of Linux. A lot of people have proposed just removing the Linux port altogether, which it's a horrendous idea. You'd be cutting off a huge portion of the community. Not huge, but a sizable amount. I myself run Linux. But people are like, oh, if we just remove the Linux port, that'll fix the botting crisis. That'll fix the problem. No, it won't. It's not going to fix it. It's just going to make the move to a more exploitable system. Windows. It's kind of no secret that Windows is pretty insecure. A lot of 0 days have been found. Obviously, they've been patched, but their security updates are slow compared to Mac or Linux. So I'd say, if anything, a Windows environment would probably make development of these botting softwares easier. I might not be right, might be wrong, who knows. But the software that they use is just, it's completely undetectable by VAC because they access system levels that VAC doesn't have access to. I can't exactly recall which ones those are, but they probably do access kernel level functions. Hi, Buggin' in Post. The YouTuber 3K Likes Philip has made a fantastic video basically going over how VAC works and how the different anti-cheats work. Highly recommend you give that a watch. I'll link it down in the description, as I am not able to discuss everything about the anti-cheat software in this video. Anyway, back to the video. For anything malicious that matches their database. if Valve were to do that, I think it would upset a lot of people. It would definitely upset me. I value privacy a lot. I think there needs to be a better solution, and I think the community is working on something, which is kind of telling. If Valve isn't willing to put in the effort to stop the bots, the community had to step up and do it for them. They created their own anti-cheat, which runs on community servers. And I believe there's also one YouTuber creating a new one as well that compiles every known botter and cheater in existence and cross-examines other players to see if they might be related to them or cheating as well, and then bans them, which I thought is a pretty cool system. It's a pretty good system, and if Valve were to implement something like that, it would definitely decrease the amount of cheaters and botters as well, because again, the botting software probably uses the same methods that exploits and cheats use to control the bots and have aimbot and all that. So if Valve even if Valve were to just focus on getting rid of the cheats, patching VAC to detect cheats better, more efficiently, and quicker, it would also affect the bots as well, because again, they're probably using the same vulnerabilities and the same exploits as the cheat manufacturers are using. So, yeah. Will Valve ever do that? Probably not. Is the 64-bit update going to fix bots forever? Are they going to remove them forever? Only time will tell. My personal theory is that these guys are just too lazy to really try and adapt their software for a new binary, even though I just said that they will adapt and it's only a matter of time. There's something that just tells me that they just don't give a crap. You know, it's a 17-year-old game. To go out of your way to have such resentment and such hate for a 17-year-old game that you're willing to put in months and years to adapt a botting software to a new binary is just ridiculous. I'm sure people would do it because they hate the game that much, or they get that much satisfaction out of seeing players complain and, seeing all the chaos and just destruction that it creates. So yeah, I don't know. I guess only time will tell. As for this channel, expect more videos. Expect different content for different games and more TF2 related content. Yeah, that's it. Just a quick update on the whole 64-bit TF2 thing. Is Valve gonna support? Is this like saying that Valve's gonna support TF2? Maybe not. I don't know. Again, time will reveal all. So all we have to do is wait and enjoy what we have while it lasts. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, drop a like, and comment. It shows the algorithm that you like my content and will promote it more to more people. Thank you, and good day.